Nebraska is 20-0. However, many people have been considering them a fraud for the entire season. Today, we are going to be breaking down college basketball, the contenders, pretenders, and the frauds, and who's actually good enough to win it all, because it seems like there are so many really good teams. This is Result Report for Season 4, Episode 2. I am Isaac Woodall, and let's get into it. We'll also be ending this video with some game predictions, just a few of them, and let's just get started with our teams. So I'm going to go through the AP Top 25 for most of the teams that it seems like there should at least be a debate over if they're good enough or not. Okay, Arizona. They are undefeated, 21-0, just went into BYU, took down the Cougars 86-83. I think they are definitely good enough. They're playing a really high level of basketball. I really doubted them just because they're not old enough. I don't think they're gonna end up winning it, and they're gonna lose at some point. I think they might just be peaking at the wrong time. Who knows? UConn. They've lost one game, and they have a valid excuse for it. It was against Arizona. It was a close game. It was at home. It was by like 4. They didn't have Terrace Reed or Braylon Mullins. However, they've had so many close games against teams that you would either not even see in the NIT or teams that you would face in like the first round, second round of the tournament, and they've been very close. For example, they beat Georgetown by 2. They beat Providence in overtime, teams with losing records. They beat Villanova in overtime. Villanova's a team you'd probably face in the second round. They beat Seton Hall by 6, and Seton Hall made 1 3 the entire game. And the Seton Hall is a bubble team. I am just saying, they're still winning their one-score games, which they weren't able to do last year, but when you face a good team, things are definitely, you're not going to be getting away with winning by 2, winning by 5 against teams that are not at the same level of you when you're playing. So I just feel like they are definitely they've got to beat teams by the amount that they should. Michigan, absolutely. The one loss they had to miss to Wisconsin was at home, and it was because Wisconsin was 15 of 31 from 3. Part of that was probably bad defense, but Michigan got so close to winning that game, and still Wisconsin was on fire from 3. Michigan is definitely a contender. Duke, I hate to say it, but yes. They looked very fraudulent this season, like for the last 2 or 3 weeks. They were losing to Georgia Tech at halftime. They barely got out of Florida State when Boozer wasn't having a good game. They went to Isaiah Evans. I was concerned about that for what was going to happen, like if Boozer was having a rough day, because he is just so important to Duke. Nebraska. Okay, a lot of people will probably hate on me for this, but I'm going to say no, because I don't think they're good enough, and yes, they're winning. They have not lost yet, but they have gotten away with so many close calls against teams they shouldn't have. Like, they were losing to North Dakota and Winthrop at halftime. They were down to Indiana by 16 in the second half, and if you're losing to Indiana by 16, you're not a good team. Look, tonight will tell us a lot against Michigan. I think they're going to get crushed, but if they win, then I think they are a real contender, and they will win the Big Ten. Gonzaga, absolutely not. They have barely beat West Coast teams that, like, a team like Oregon or Washington would pay to play. So yeah, just this, and this. All these scores show Gonzaga is overrated. They're not going to lose many games because they're in the WCC. We'll see how they do next season when they're in the Pac-12. They've got a game against St. Mary's at the Kennel on Saturday. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. I think they're fraud. Michigan State, nothing about this team has been screaming like championship contender. When I watch them, like, they don't have a bunch of superstar players. They do have Jeremy Fears, great player, second in the Big Ten and second in the nation in assists per game. And he can also score pretty well. Just nothing really screams championship from them to me. I'm going to say no right now, but if they beat Michigan on Friday, then yes. Iowa State, definitely. They had a couple rough games in a week, but they've really bounced back. They went into Purdue, won by 23. Very, very hard thing to do, dominate a team like that. And yeah, they're definitely a contender. Illinois, they also went to Purdue and won. It took a great performance from Keaton Wagler, but they have shown they are a very good team. You could say they're the hottest team in the nation right now. They are tied for second in the Big Ten. And if Michigan loses, they could move up. Houston, yes, they had 42 points from Kingston Flemings. Still could not get the job done, but they are definitely a very good team, especially on defense, scoring wise. It didn't really show against Texas Tech, but if their offense is going, then they are definitely a hard team to beat. Texas Tech, no. If they don't have their big three scoring, then they will not do well. It's just that. And when they did beat Duke, very good win. They beat Houston, very good win. I just don't think they're winning the championship after the game they had. Well, maybe they did fix things from the Bahamas, but I don't think this team is going to win it. Purdue, yes. I may be a little biased as a Purdue fan, but I think anyone could agree that this team isn't really the choking thing that they used to be. They made it to the Final Four. They made it to the Sweet 16 when they faced a couple trap games in March Madness. But I think this team, if they get out of this slump, they should be fine. BYU, they just lost, but also, yes, very talented team. AJ DeMonster, Richie Saunders, Rob Wright, Kay Bakita. There's so many good players on that team, and it would not surprise me if they're going to win it all. I think they're right now in position to get like a 3 seed, maybe a 4 seed, but they are definitely one of the top 5 best teams in the country. I don't know if I'm crazy for saying that. Kansas. Yes, I thought at the beginning of the year they were going to end up getting like a 10 seed because of a collapse they'd have or something, but no, they've really figured things out. They destroyed Iowa State, and they have really taken care of business lately. After they lost to West Virginia and UCF, which were not good losses. Florida, the reigning national champion. I'm going to say no. They just lost to Auburn. They're a little inconsistent too with their guards, especially. I think they are not good enough to win the championship. I'll just say that. Arkansas, no. This is the last SEC team I'm putting on here. The SEC, you're not getting a champion this year. I am not sorry about that either. And Arkansas, they have Darius Acuff, but they lost to Georgia by 15. Georgia's like 8 seed material. I don't think they're going to win the championship. It's that simple. St. Louis, they played really well. I think they could get like a 7 seed or something from the A10. They're a really good team. They've got Robbie Avila from the Indiana State a couple years ago. But they are not, I don't think they're going to win the championship. That should be out of reach. And Miami, Ohio. They have not lost the game this season. And if you're like one of those people that just puts record as the number one thing, like you have like Arizona 1, Nebraska 2, Miami, Ohio 3. No. Miami, Ohio has had one of the easiest schedules in the nation, and they're going to lose at some point. They beat Buffalo in overtime. They beat Kent State in overtime. These are like 13 seeds in the tournament. Miami is not winning the championship, and I don't even think they're going to win the MAC. I think Akron is going to win the MAC tournament. And now my predictions. Nebraska at Michigan. I already said I think Michigan's going to crush them. Purdue at Indiana. This has been like a game that people are trying to say, oh, Indiana could get them. This could be a season-altering win. They can shoot really well, but they do not have a big man that could stop Oscar Clough or Daniel Jacobson. Sam Alexis and Reed Bailey are just not tall enough or good enough. They're only in there because of their size. They don't really do anything on offense. But if Indiana has any chance, they will need to be on fire from 3. And even if they are, I don't even know that I could say they're going to win. And then Kentucky at Vanderbilt. One last game that I feel like could go either way. I think Kentucky's been playing really well lately. And I'm not a Blue Bloods guy, but I think that they are going to go to Vanderbilt and win and hand Vanderbilt their 4th loss in SEC play this year. So there you have it. I am Isaac Woodall with Season 4, Episode 2 of Result Report. Here are my predictions. Summarize, we went over the contender and pretender, who's a fraud, who's actually going to win the whole thing. And thank you so much for watching. See you later.